imperious, slightly hushed. Look closely at the Great Sphinx. Past its sheer, massive scale, there is a physical anomaly written directly into the rock. Deep vertical trenches worn into its limestone body. Mainstream archaeology places the construction of this monument roughly 4.5 millennia ago. According to the accepted timeline, it was carved in a completely dry, arid desert. But the stone itself tells a different story. The deep, smooth channels cut into the Sphinx enclosure are recognizable to geologists as the distinct signature of thousands of years of continuous torrential rainfall. The Giza Plateau hasn't experienced a climate capable of producing that kind of sustained, heavy rain for at least 10 to 15,000 years. This geological evidence indicates that the Sphinx was carved millennia before the date science typically assigns to the beginning of complex civilization. It indicates a gap in the orthodox timeline of human history. Mainstream Egyptologists largely set aside this rainfall data. To acknowledge it would require a total revision of the standard evolutionary framework, which relies on civilization emerging no earlier than 6,000 years ago. While we are taught that 10,000 years ago, humans were primitive hunter-gatherers, the engineering reality sitting on the Giza Plateau offers a different perspective. Carving the largest single stone sculpture on Earth requires advanced logistics, mathematics, and a highly organized workforce. These structural requirements suggest a capabilities gap that the primitive forager theory cannot easily bridge. This geological contradiction in the timeline suggests we should look elsewhere in the ancient world for other remnants of this forgotten culture. Archaeologists observe a strange phenomenon in early history, known as stair-step evolution. Instead of a slow, gradual accumulation of knowledge, certain cultures appear to bypass the traditional developmental phases. Ancient Egypt and Sumer seemingly emerged in a highly developed state, possessing fully formed, complex languages and perfected hydraulic engineering from their earliest recorded moments. We see this architectural precision in their earliest monuments. They were building massive, complex structures without leaving behind a record of the primitive trials usually associated with such engineering. Strangely, these early forms actually declined in quality over the following centuries. Their structural clarity and engineering skill decayed over time, rather than refined. This lack of a prior developmental period suggests these cultures were not the inventors of this science, but the inheritors of an already perfected system from a much older source. This inherited knowledge is visible in the astronomical traditions of tribes like the Dogon in West Africa. They possess a 700-year-old tradition and cave drawings mapping the specific orbital pattern of a star known as Sirius B. Their ancient artwork matches the elliptical orbit tracked by modern telescopes today. Sirius B is a white dwarf, completely invisible to the naked eye, and its existence was only confirmed by modern science in the last century. The records of the ancient Sumerians contain similar evidence of impossible astronomical detail. Translated cuneiform clay tablets reveal a mastery of complex celestial cycles. The Sumerians possessed mathematically precise knowledge of the precession of the equinoxes, the 25,920-year cycle it takes for the Earth's axis to complete one full rotation. To mathematically calculate this axial wobble from scratch requires over 2,000 years of continuous, perfectly recorded observation. The Sumerians possessed this data on the first day of their civilization. This level of astronomical detail points toward an origin far older than the cultures that preserved it, a remnant of a science predating the last ice age. Which brings us back to the deep erosion on the Sphinx. What kind of event was capable of erasing this highly advanced global civilization? Forensic evidence points to a massive geophysical cataclysm roughly 13,000 years ago. An extreme climatic shift and a rapid movement of the magnetic poles caused sea levels to spike, instantly swallowing immense portions of land. This planetary shift caused widespread physical destruction and simultaneously triggered a collapse in the Earth's magnetic fields, the energetic framework that maintains human neurological memory. Disconnected from their past by this magnetic reset, the survivors entered a state of profound amnesia. They were forced to restart as the primitive hunter-gatherers we find in the earliest archaeological layers. Our standard worldview suggests we are the absolute pinnacle of a slow, unbroken evolutionary climb. The physical artifacts suggest we are something quite different. We are a species recovering from a collective loss of memory, and the water-scarred Sphinx stands in the desert as a monument to our forgotten potential.